Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Śrīmad Bhagavad-gītā as it is, chapter 9, entitled The Most Confidential Knowledge, text 4. Maya tatam idam sarvam jagatavyakta murtina matstani sarva bhutani nacharham teshvavastitah. Maya, by me. Tatam, pervaded. Idam, this. Sarvam, all. Jagat, cosmic manifestation. Avyakta, murtina, by the unmanifested form. Matstani, in me. Sarva, bhutani, all living entities. Na, not. Cha, also. Aham, I. Teshu, in them. Avastitaha, situated. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is not perceivable through the gross material senses. It is said, Atah Shri Krishna Namadi Nabhavid Grahyam Indriyai Sivanmukhi Jivado Swayam Eva Spuratyadaha. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1-234. Lord Sri Krishna's name, fame, pastime, etc. cannot be understood by material senses. Only to one who is engaged in pure devotional service under proper guidance is he revealed. In the Brahma Samhita 538, it is stated, Pramanjita churita bhakti vilochanena santah sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti. One can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead Govinda always within himself and outside himself if one has developed the transcendental loving attitude towards him. Thus for people in general, he is not visible. Here it is said that although he is all-pervading, everywhere present, he is not conceivable by material senses. This is indicated here by the word avyakta murtina. But actually, although we cannot see him, everything is resting in him. As we have discussed in the 7th chapter, the entire material cosmic manifestation is only a combination of his two different energies, the superior spiritual energy and the inferior material energy. Just as the sunshine is spread all over the universe, the energy of the Lord is spread all over the creation, and everything is resting in that energy. Yet, one should not conclude that because he is spread all over, he has lost his personal existence. To refute such an argument, the Lord says, I am everywhere and everything is in me, but still I am aloof. For example, a king heads a government, which is but the manifestation of the king's energy. The different governmental departments are nothing but the energies of the king, and each department is resting on the king's power. But still, one cannot expect the king to be present in every department personally. That is a crude example. Similarly, all the manifestations that we see and everything that exists, both in this material world and in the spiritual world, are resting on the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The creation takes place by the diffusion of his different energies, and as stated in the Bhagavad-gītā, Vrishtabhyahamidam Kṛṣṇam, he is everywhere present by his personal representation, the diffusion of his different energies. The translation of the verse again. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. Hare Krishna. We continue our discussion on Gṛhastha and Vānaprastha ashrams. And if we connect these ashrams with this verse, it's very important to understand that Lord is not perceivable, as he said himself. I'm in my unmanifested form, Jagat Avyakta Murtina. I pervade all the universe. Everything is in me. All beings are in me, but I'm not in them. Yes. Especially, he's not present in those who are not connected with him, who are materialists. So a materialistic person cannot perceive any connection with the Lord in this world. And as long as we are sadhakas, that means we haven't attained perfection yet, we are still under the influence of material nature. And therefore, it is very important to practice, to go deep in our practice of Krishna consciousness. It is said by Krishna in 12th chapter, Mayeva mana adatsva mayi buddhi nivesha, nivesishyasi mayeva ata urdvama samsha. That one should engage fully his mind and consciousness in him only. And thus one can attain him without doubt and live with him. And in the next verse he says, Atarchitam samadatum nashaknoshi maistiram abhyasa yoganatato mamichaptum dhananjaya. If one is not able to be in such a samadhi all the time, to be so absorbed in the Lord all the time, abhyasa yoganatato, engage in practice, in spiritual practice, engage in sadhana bhakti, abhyasa yoga, in the drill of your consciousness, like military drill. And thus you will develop desire to attain me. Yes, and this is the key for progression in devotional life. If we don't develop desire to attain the Lord, our life is a waste, actually. And therefore, we have explained in our classes about Gṛhastha ashram, that this is an ashram, spiritual shelter. So if we don't completely focus on spiritual life in Gṛhastha ashram, in spiritual family life, we just fool ourselves. Yes. Maybe we are pious, but pious means materialistic consciousness. Pious means that I come to the temple and give some donation, and maybe I come to different festivals, and yes, I have pure conscience. I'm pious, and therefore I will have good karma. Or if I consider myself a devotee, I identify with this upadhi, actually. Upadhi means designation, that I identify with certain social role. Then I think, yes, maybe I'm not so strict with my sadhana, with my spiritual practice, but Krishna is merciful. And at the end of life, I'll go back home, back to Godhead. Tulsi Maharani ki. This is usual state of consciousness of materialistic people, that they believe in some miracle at the time of death. Yes. They have so distracted mind, full of different material desires. And they believe that at the end of life some magic will happen and I will just develop pure love of Krishna and I will go to spiritual world or in heaven or anything such miraculous occasion will happen at the time of death. But nowhere in Shastra it is mentioned that death has a power to create miracles. No. Quite the opposite. Krishna says, Yam yam vapi smaram bhavan tyajantyante kalivaram tam tam aveti kaunta sadhatat bhava bhavata. That whatever state of consciousness one develops till the time of death, he will achieve this state of consciousness without doubt. Yes. So if we are focused on our families during our life, or focused on our wealth, focused on our social position, then inevitably at the time of death, which is very traumatic experience actually, our mind, which is already extremely disturbed at such a point, will definitely immerse in these thoughts which by which it was pervaded all the time. So for spiritual family life, it is crucial that we put Krishna in the center of our life. Yes, it's crucial. And this, what this practically means, that we should have strict sadhana, especially if we are fathers or husbands. By our example, we should show what it means to put Krishna in the center of our life. That means that I should be extremely strict to myself, little less to my children, especially with boys. Fathers should be very strict, from 5 till 14, 15 years of age. And the most lenient one should be to his wife. Yes, but most strict with himself. Yes, this is very important. If father is not strict to himself and he's lax in his devotional practices, then no one will have true faith in spiritual life in the family. Yes. Because mothers are by nature more emotional, more sentimental, and fluctuating in their moods. So father should be very strong in this connection, extremely strong personality, and not waver in any situation, even pleasant or unpleasant. He puts his sadhana on the first place of his life. Yes. So it means practically that he chants his rounds very diligently, with full concentration, no disturbance allowed, no phone, no other distractions, no talking during japa or during chanting. Yes. If one has such disposition, one can go deeper in spiritual life. Without this going deeper in our spiritual life, everything is just superficial. Nothing is of substance. Everything is actually empty bottle. So what we can get from empty bottle? Nothing actually. Yes, because it's no substance there. If we just catching our rounds all day long, Krishna, the children will see this, that you are burdened by Krishna consciousness. Yes, and they don't want to be burdened, so they will not take the Krishna consciousness. Yes, so it's very important, as here it is said, we should connect with the Lord. The Lord is not perceived through material senses. Yes, he's avyakta murtina. Avyakta means unmanifest, and murtina means form. He's present in unmanifested form. And here Prabhupada mentions these different verses from Bhakti-rasamrita Sindhu. Atak Shri Krishna namadi nabhavet graham indriya. Sevan mukha hi jivado svayam eva spuratyada. That he's not perceivable. Yes, we cannot force the Lord to appear before our eyes. It's impossible for us. We don't have any power. Nabhavet graham indriya. Indriya means senses, but he's not able to be grasped by the senses. And sevan mukhe hi jivado. If we engage in service that begins with the tongue, only then is possible that Krishna is so pleased that Swayam eva spuratyada. Swayam means by himself, eva, certainly, only can he manifest according to his will. Yes. So it's so important to be engaged in seva all the time, if possible. We should meditate that I'm just Krishna's servant. Yes, whatever we do, if we have a job, or we wash pots, or we are washing the floor, or we are cooking, or we go to work, we have to have this consciousness, this meditation. I'm just Krishna's servant. I go to work not to earn money, but to serve Krishna. Understand? This should be our consciousness, constant meditation. And this is actually samadhi. If we have such meditation, I'm just a Krishna's servant. How can I serve best you, Krishna, in every situation? You put me in a family situation, that I have a wife or a husband, I have children. How can I serve best in this situation? How can I serve my family members? But not with this materialistic idea. Of course, I have to give them food, I have to give them clothing, I have to give them education, I have to give them roof above the head. But really these things are just to protect some dead material elements. This service of giving food and shelter. This is just protecting dead material elements. We have to understand this. We serve really if we give them Krishna consciousness. How can I serve them properly, that they will love you? I'm there just to facilitate other family members to love Krishna. And if I'm not performing this duty, I'm missing the most important role of my life as a Gṛhastha. And if we have such disposition in family life, then we also can proceed further on when children are grown up enough that they don't need our attention anymore. We can proceed and give this knowledge and realization to other generations as Vānaprasthas. Many devotees are terrified of the sound of the word of Vānaprastha. But no one should be terrified. If you're not ready, you shouldn't become Vānaprastha. You should become Gṛhastha first. Yes. What's the use of being a family man if you're not Gṛhastha? So become Gṛhastha first. And when you're full of spiritual realization, you can just share. Vānaprastha ashram is not something artificial, that from now on I'm Vānaprastha. From today, I'm Vānaprastha. This is usual misconception, like this misconception, one day I will wake up and I'll be full of love of Krishna. This will never happen if we don't go deep in our spiritual practices now. Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Now is the time to inquire about the absolute truth, to connect to the absolute truth. Now. Because we said so, tomorrow never comes. Yes. Only now is reality. Yes. So now I have to connect. So if I'm not connected now to the Lord, I'm not connected. I will never be connected. This is not question that time will bring some change. No. Time has no magical power to bring a change in our consciousness. No, but our endeavor has the power to attract Lord's mercy. Yes. We have here this Yashoda Krishna Līlā, how Yashoda tried to bind Krishna. And she was unable to bind Krishna because Krishna cannot be bound. It's impossible because he contains unlimited universes. So how can one rope from one small rope from one of the smallest universes go around the Krishna's waist? It's impossible because Krishna's waist is unlimited. Yes. So no matter how many ropes Mother Yashoda put together, and they didn't fit around Krishna's waist. But Krishna, when he saw his mother's endeavor, he became merciful and he allowed to be bound by her love. So, this is the only possible way to advance spiritually, to put full endeavor in our Krishna consciousness. Yes, nothing will come automatically. You have to understand this. Nothing will come automatically or mechanically, by some mechanical process. No way. So, yes, time has no power to create change. Yes. Only our bhakti has the power to bind the Lord. Yes, bhakti is most powerful, but it should be pure. And if we don't go deep in our spiritual life, we can never purify. We can never purify our consciousness. And we mentioned this morning how important it is to be humble, to be very humble. Because we identify from time immemorial with our external situation. I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm a human being, I'm a dog, I'm a cat, and so on. I'm a father, I'm a mother, I'm a child, I'm a brother, I'm a sister. These are all material designation. Yes. That has nothing to do with our real existence. So, striving to protect my existence, if I go to work with this idea, I have to protect my situation. This is material consciousness. And spiritual consciousness is to understand I'm just a servant. I'm just a servant of the servant in every situation. Either I'm a Gṛhastha or a Vānaprastha or sannyasi. I'm just a servant of everyone. Even if I'm a guru, still I'm a servant. Krishna put me in this role. This is again one of upadis. Sarva upadi vinirmuktan tatparatvenam nirmalam. Hrishikena hrishikesha sevanam bhakti ruchate. It is mentioned in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that bhakti means to give up all these different upadis. I'm Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. I'm Brahmachari, Gṛhastha, Vānaprastha, Sannyasi. one should give up all these upadhis. I'm father, I'm mother, I'm cat or dog. Yes. And stop trying to protect my spiritual existence. Yes. We try so hard. Everyone is trying so hard to protect his material existence. You see, for example, even so lowly creatures that one would think it's better for them to die immediately. For example, some mosquitoes or I don't know, but they run for life, don't they? Yes. And we run for life and fight for life. It's the same mosquito consciousness. Yes. Sarvapadi vinirbhuktam. We have to be free from all these upadis. And we just try to be servant. Hrishikena hrishikesha sevanam. Bhakti ruchate. Bhakti means to serve and nothing else. So we have to perceive ourselves as servants. Not try to defend our position, not try to defend our name, not try to defend anything. Yes, because if I try to defend anything of this is just trying to protect some dead material elements, either gross or subtle or both. Yes, this is just material consciousness, death consciousness. Yes, actually, because we are focused on dead particles, not on reality. Reality is to be just a servant, and a servant doesn't protest if he is chastised by the master, for example. Yeah. Hare Krishna. You realized. So, yes, one example from this Govardhana Līlā we can give is the great king of the universe. It's King Indra. Indra has really great position. No one in this material world has such a position as Indra. Indra is the king of heavens. So all the demigods are under his command. And when he was prevented this yagya for his pleasure, he became extremely furious. So because he didn't get what he wanted on material level, he became furious, and he tried to destroy those who didn't behave according to his expectations. So this is the sign of pride. And why these stories are told in Śrīmad Bhagavatam? Just to understand that pride of certain position is detrimental for our spiritual life. We can fight Krishna, and Indra was fighting Krishna. And after this episode of trying to destroy Vrindavan, just few days later, one can say, from the point of view of demigods, because 1 year on this earth is 1 day in the heavenly planets. So just few days later, he again was fighting against Krishna. Yes, he was humbled by Krishna. Krishna lifted Govardhana hill with his left hand, and he realized that this is my Lord, and he came with Surabhi cow to offer his obeisances and apologies to the Lord, that he tried to kill him. I tried to kill him, sorry. I tried to kill all your family. Please excuse me. Yes. And he brought his cow along with, Surabhi cow along with him, who is Lord's devotee. So, we may laugh at Indra's stupidity, how Indra tried to destroy Krishna and all his relatives and friends and the whole land of Vrindavan. But if we have material consciousness, we do exactly the same thing. We fight against devotees. We criticize devotees, and Krishna says that my devotees are extremely dear to me, more dear than I myself. I'm dear to myself. He likes devotees more than he likes himself. Yes. He said so, that Uddhava is my devotee and is more dear to myself, that I am dear to myself. So if we offend devotees, if we fight with devotees, this is Indra mentality. We try to destroy their name, their life actually, if we are engaged in some conflict. So therefore, Lord Chaitanya instructed us, be humble. Be humble. Only if we are humble, we can give anything to others. If we are proud, we can be the king of some small, in Slovene we said, heap of dung. Like there is a cock who is crowing on the heap of some dung, and he thinks that he's a king of this heap of dung. So we can think that we are kings of some heap of dung. But actually, we are just fools, number one. Yes, if you are not humble. And if you offend devotees, it's just like Indra trying to kill Krishna. So only if we are humble, we can give something to the devotees. Otherwise, we can preach to mesmerize masses of people. But if we are not humble, we cannot give them anything, really. We just mesmerize them and practically mislead them. So yes, one should become humble and seek Krishna in every situation. Pramanjita churita bhakti vilochanina. Santah sadeva hridayeshu vilokayanti. So one who is santa, who is saintly, he can see Krishna all the time. Yes, with eyes of love. He can see Krishna within himself, and he can see Krishna everywhere. Yes, because he's focused on Krishna. And then really, you can see Krishna. You can be connected to Krishna. And this is true Vānaprastha, as we mentioned this morning. Vana means forest. And the foremost of forests is Vrindavan. So one can live in Vrindavan constantly with this consciousness. And this is true Vānaprastha. And we just proceed. When we don't have any particular service urgent in Gṛhastha āśrama anymore. So children are grown up. So our focus should be still on service. So it's not something unnatural occurrence, this Vānaprastha ashram. We said that people are afraid of it, but There's nothing to be afraid if you are focused on service. We just search for service opportunity. We just continue our service. So in this situation, today I'm not needed anymore. So I just render service somewhere else. Understand? It's not something artificial. Yes. Today on, you have to be Vānaprastha. No. But if I'm not immersed in service during my Gṛhastha time, I will never be ready to go out and render service somewhere else. I will cling to my situation till the end of life. Yes, I will be concerned for my belly. Yes, what will I eat? How will I sleep? I have my bed here. I'm attached to my bed. I'm attached to my foodstuff. I'm attached to my peace. Yes. And if I'm attached to these things, I'm not ready to serve. I'm serving my body. I'm serving my dead material elements that I'm conditioned by. So only with proper consciousness it is possible to continue our service. Yes. So one should go deep in his spiritual practice now. This is not something that by this certain age you have to be like this. It's not possible. This particular time is crucial for your life. Yes. So today I have to seek connection with Krishna. Yeah. And if I have this consciousness today, I will have it also tomorrow. Without having it today, I will not have it tomorrow. Yes. And I will have it every day, such consciousness. And only if I have it every day, it's possible to have relationship with Krishna. And then it's possible to serve. If I don't have any connection with Krishna, it's impossible to serve to anyone. Even if I'm richest father or most caring mother, I don't do any service practically. I put my dependence on the lap of death. Yes, they will just die. I will die, and my children will also die. And what I have achieved? Nothing. Even if I have best of jobs, what's the use of such a job if I don't give love of Krishna to my children and to my wife? It's such a waste of time. Don't waste your time. Connect with Krishna now. Hare Krishna. Is there any question or comment? Yes, please.
You spoke about you should not offend devotees.
Yes.
This is very bad. So we see that somehow in the, let's say, in the historical environment of ISKCON, there are movements that live close to ISKCON. In a way, they also emphasize Srila Prabhupada as a spiritual master, maybe even more than us. And there are other Gaudiya Vaishnavas, and they say that, yes, Prabhupada gave something, but we give you something extra, something more, something higher. So it seems that how to say, to look down on our particular movement is a basic disposition of those let's say branches of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, and I wonder if there is such a basic disposition to criticize devotees, does that mean everyone there is bad? Or are there also innocent people in those branches and movements that, how to say, should be taken very serious as mature devotees or sincere devotees? So how should we think about those devotees? They are chanting Hare Krishna. How should we think about them, and how should we behave in relationships with those people?
Thank you for the question.
When we meet.
What you were speaking about, this is society consciousness. It's not about Krishna consciousness. And this society consciousness is Upadhi consciousness. I am this, I am that. I am Hare Krishna, I am Gaudiya Mat, I am Christian, I am Muslim, I am this, I am that. This is all material consciousness. It has nothing to do with our spiritual existence. Everywhere can be saints, even in Christian paths or Muslim paths or Gaudiya Mat or anywhere. Who can tell? If your service given by Krishna or Guru is to go around and search who is saint and who is materialistic elsewhere, then you can bother about this. But if this is not your service, it's useless to bother. Understand? You just follow your spiritual master. You just follow the instruction of Guru and Krishna and Shastra. And be careful that you don't offend anyone, that you're focused on your spiritual life. And doesn't matter all this fuss around society here and there. This is irrelevant for our spiritual life. If someone is teaching something against Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, we should protect other devotees that can be influenced by such bogus preaching. But saying that one society is not bona fide, of course, if the basic teaching is against Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, they're not bona fide. But it's not our service to destroy them. Maybe it is someone's service. For example, our duty is to destroy Mayavad philosophy. This is accepted by Lord Chaitanya himself. He accepted two things from each sampradaya. And from Brahma, Madhva sampradaya, he accepted complete defeat of Mayavad philosophy. Lord Chaitanya, for example. And also Srila Prabhupada, he was very strong in defeating Mayavad philosophy. So it is our service to Guru and Gauranga to destroy philosophy of Mayavad. Yes. But if we are not given service to search in other societies and their deviant philosophy, what's the use of bothering with that? If the teaching is according to Guru and Shastra, then it is acceptable. We should be, of course, very careful to properly understand the philosophy. Therefore, I'm putting so much stress on understanding of tattva. This sambandha jnana is extremely important, that we know the philosophy very well. If we don't know philosophy very well, we are very vulnerable. And this is actually, yes, lower states of spiritual life. If you don't have strong spiritual groundation. So yes, just by default, if they're not ISKCON, they're bad. This is stupid mentality. Because before 1966, I believe, Prabhupada was also not ISKCON. and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was never ISKCON. But Prabhupada gave his life for his mission. And Bhaktivedanta Thakur was also not ISKCON. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was also not ISKCON devotee. And Jesus Christ was not a Christian. So, we have this mentality, I'm this, I'm that, and therefore I'm better than you. This is again material consciousness. Yes. So it's most important that we go deep under the shelter of spiritual master. Therefore we should take shelter of spiritual master. Yes. And have this idea, I'm your servant. I'm just your servant. If you don't take shelter of spiritual master, it's very difficult, practically impossible to advance in spiritual life. Because I don't know if I'm going in the right direction or not. And I don't know what to do with the obstacles. Is this Krishna who is telling me that I should stop doing this service because it's an obstacle and Krishna is sending this obstacle? Or I should overcome this obstacle and continue this service? I don't know. How can I tell? I'm lost if I'm not instructed. For example, Prabhupada was instructed, go and preach in English language and print books. And so he took it very seriously. Even if his typewriter was stolen, he still continued to write books, because this was instruction of his spiritual master. So we should connect to the spiritual master, and I believe in today's purport in the morning, Prabhupada was speaking about this. We should surrender to our spiritual master, and then we are safe, regardless of certain society. Society is there, existing only to give association to people, that they can have saintly association. This is the only purpose of a society. Otherwise, no society is needed. Yes. Society is there to serve people, to have devotee association. Otherwise, it's not necessary. As Prabhupada said, we could live under the tree, but no one would come to us. So we couldn't serve them properly. So this service mentality is important, not society allegiance so much. This is again one of the upadhis. Hare Krishna. Yes, please.
Hare Krishna, you were talking about that we shouldn't defend ourselves.
Yes.
And so I was thinking of examples like maybe being given physically threatened, or maybe I don't know, maybe somebody accused you of something that you didn't do, and so, or one also, for example, if somebody sues you for something, for example, practically this can occur. So how to then react in this situation? So you still have to have some perception of identity in this way, material.
Yes. If you are not really on this level of understanding, of course, it's better to defend. Otherwise, we would just explode sometime. Understand? Because this will be too much for our level of spiritual advancement. But we should practice this as far as possible, not to defend ourselves unnecessarily. We can start with small things, because very quickly we become irritated and offended and so on. Yes, silence is a very powerful tool, actually, for our consciousness. Therefore, they practiced Mauna Vrata. And we can see extreme examples. Shastra always give extreme examples for us to understand. For example, Jadabharat was a pure devotee. And he was captured by some dacoits because the chief of the dacoits wanted to have a son, and he wanted to perform a human sacrifice to get the son. And they captured Jadabharat and brought him in front of the deity of Durga, Kali, to offer him as a human sacrifice. And Jadabharat looked to be some mentally deranged person, but he was Paramahamsa. And he exactly knew what is happening. And they bathed him very well, because offering to the deity should be pure. So they bathed him, they fed him very well, the best of foods. And he knew exactly what is going on, but he didn't defend. He didn't try to escape the situation. They bathed him, they fed him, they put the best of dress on him to be proper offering. And they put his head on this chopping place and took a very sacrificial sharp sword, and they prepared to just chop off his head. And he knew this is going on, but he didn't identify with this body. He just was connected to Krishna in his heart. Jai Shri Prahlad Nrsimha Ki Jai. He didn't bother what will happen the next moment. But Bhadrakali couldn't tolerate this, and she burst out of the murti and took this sacrificial sword from the hands of these dacoits, and she chopped off the heads of these dacoits. And these other witches came out also, her followers, and they screamed and started to toss these severed heads of the dacoits here and there, and drinking the blood. Because they couldn't tolerate that pure devotee would be offended like this. So yes, and Jadabharat just continued his life in the same manner, not affected by external situation. So this is extreme example of not defending himself like this. So we should be humble. Lord Chaitanya said that amani manadahanya. One should be extremely humble. And Trinada Pisanishana Tarori Vasihishana Amani Namanatina Kirtanya Aksadahari. To be extremely humble, we should understand this principle. This is the key principle to connect with the Lord, to be humble. If we are not humble, how can we connect to the Lord? It's impossible, because we have material consciousness. How could be more humble than a blade of grass? Blade of grass is fighting for its existence. Yes, if you study the blade of grass, it's fighting with other blades of grass for its space. Yes. So, devotee should be more humble. He doesn't fight for his existence. This should be our understanding. Yes, as long as I have this need to defend my life, I'm really not humble. Of course, sometimes it is a service to our guru, and to defend certain position that we are able to serve. But these are very subtle things, and we can use them as an excuse that this is service. We defend the service, but actually we defend our material consciousness. So without deep connection with the Lord, without deep sadhana, we cannot be humble. Yes. Then we can cheat ourselves, that we are just protecting ourselves for service, but this is cheating. Self-cheating. Yes. So only deep sadhana is the solution, that we can understand what is true humility and what is not. Hare Krishna. Anything else? Yes, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I have a question about a point you made a few classes ago, and that is, you said that Gṛhastha ashram is not a step aside from spiritual life, it is a way of spiritual life. And it seems like in our movement, or also just a personal misconception, is that it is better or more surrender to live in a dependent ashram in the temple and do full-time service. And moving away from the situation towards Gṛhastha life seems selfish. That we give up our temple service and move out and start working, it seems selfish and like I'm not as surrendered or as spiritual anymore if I do that. And I was wondering if you can shed some light on this conception.
Yes. It may seem that Gṛhastha life is selfish, and it can certainly be selfish. And also Brahmachari life can be selfish. And Vānaprastha and sannyasi life can also be selfish. Depends on our consciousness. It is mentioned in Śrīmad Bhagavatam that devotee it's not necessary for a devotee to change any position, actually. Because in whatever position he is, if he is really a devotee, advanced devotee, he can just serve. But as long as we are not pure devotees, we have some material tendencies, some material needs. And especially devotees in woman's body, in female body, especially when they get older and older, if they don't have children, they can feel dejected and unfulfilled, and starting to feel that something is missing in their life. And if such consciousness appears in certain stage of life, can be very detrimental for the service also. So, in such situation, it's better to have certain environment in which we can be more peaceful and feeling more fulfilled. And maybe in such a case we'll be more inspired to render service also. So, in one sense, there is no need to change any position. Everything depends on our consciousness. But if, because of our conditionings, we are not inspired to do service anymore, because we feel some lack in our life, and it's better to adjust our living position that is more aligned with our current needs, of material needs, actually, conditioned needs that are appearing according to our bodily disposition. So therefore Prabhupada said that the best course of action is that no brahmachari would marry, and that every lady should marry. That all men should remain brahmacharis and all ladies should marry. That seems a paradox, impossible. Yes, but there is great wisdom in this statement that we should try to implement in our life. So, if you feel that you have your bodily needs that are conditioned by your bodily disposition, then it's maybe more conducive for your spiritual life to become Gṛhastha. Yes. Especially when the person is young, he can't know what will happen in due course of time. If you're 20, 25 years old, how can you know what will be your consciousness at 45 or 50? Yes. Especially women, it's beneficial for women to have children. The younger they are, the better it is. 30 is late. What to speak 40? Yes. And if you have children at 22, it's the best. Then when you're 40, your children are already grown up and your life is not finished yet. So, but if you have children late, then when you're free from this care for the children, you're already sucked up by life. You're at 60 plus years old. You're just tired of life. So, if one enters Gṛhastha ashram, it's better to be young. So, till the age of for brahmacharis, I advise people till the age of 28 is the latest to decide what they want to do in their life. If they have inclination to marry, they should marry immediately. And this we can see if they enjoy association with the opposite sex. This is the sign that they should marry immediately. And even if they artificially avoid the association of opposite sex, they should also marry. So, majority of men should also marry, according to the mental disposition, if they're not fixed. Therefore, I'm trying to impress on everyone how important it is to go deep, that we should focus on our spiritual life, not on material situation. But women should be protected according to our Shastra and Srila Prabhupada. And this ashram life is not real protection. Yes. Should be protected by their fathers in their children age, by the husbands in their young age, and by their children in their old age. So women should also always be protected, because without women there is no society. Women are basis of whole society. There is no home, it is explained by Shastra, explained by Srila Prabhupada. There is no home without loving wife or mother. Yes. If one is alone without a wife and mother, he can immediately leave home and enter the forest. Yes. So, yes. And this is another topic we have mentioned, that mothers should be at home, to give home life, to give home love, to give home substance. If mothers have to work outside, then the home becomes lifeless crematorium, yes, with no love. When my son was in secondary school, age of, 16, 17, something like this. The principal of this head school, of this secondary school, of the gymnasium, he was the leader of school choir. You know what is choir? Many people sing together. This is a choir. And he wanted every student to join his choir. And he also said to my son, you should join the choir. And he said, I can't join the choir. I have lunch at that time. I have to go home. And he said, but there is no one at home. But my son said, no, my mother is at home. And then this schoolmaster couldn't say anything. Yes, and it was true. His mother was at home. Yes. It's so important that there is mother at home when you come home. Yes. Hare Krishna. I don't know if I answered your question. Hare Krishna. You had a question.
I had a short question. You just said that so Prabhupada says that it will be good if every man stays brahmacharya, but after you mentioned that at the age of 28, if brahmacharya has a small desire to have the association with the opposite sex, then he should immediately marry. Did you mean it only for the age of 28 or also earlier? And yes, if a brahmachari has this desire to have the association with the opposite sex, should I, for example, to stay in brahmachari ashram so long as I can, or should I marry?
How old are you?
I'm 19.
19. Yes, you can be trained as brahmachari for another 6 years, for example. And then see, if you really focus on your spiritual life, you can remain brahmachari for your life. But if you have strong desire to be independent, to have your family, then you just marry and be happy in your Krishna consciousness in married life. Hare Krishna. Yes, we should live simply. We should be simple. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Śrīmad Bhagavad-gītā ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Pramanandi Hare Krishna.